Story courtesy of my friend who worked at a juvenile retention center. There was one kid, maybe 14 or 15, who had been part of a gang initiation and killed someone. 2 days after kid got to the center, he kept saying there was someone bothering him at night. Everyone thought he was full of crap until there was something on one of the cameras for that cell. 3 a.m. There was a misty figure outside kid's cell, and it looked like the figure it was reaching through the bars only showed up on one camera, and the kid had a bruise on his face the next day that looked like he had been hit with a pipe. There was an incident from my hometown that made national news and made believers out of many. A young mom and her infant were driving home from a friend's house at night when she crashed her car, which ended upside down in the river. The following day, a fisherman saw the car and called the emergency personnel. When law enforcement officials went down the embankment to the crash site, 4 different officers heard a distinct voice calling, "Help me, help me." Hearing voice caused them to work frantically and to flip the car over and found 18-month-old baby alive, strapped in her car seat, hanging upside down. Based on LEA reports, it is estimated that the car had crashed 14 hours before. I still get chills when I pass the crash site. The mother died almost instantly from the injuries sustained in the crash. Rescuers had no idea where the voice was coming from. This isn't from the streets, but I was a corrections officer at the 112 years old prison. I would have a control post every Sunday night from 4 p.m. to 11 to 12 a.m. At 9 p.m. every Sunday, there would be an inmate in visitation sitting there on camera. I knew for a fact there was nobody up there because by 4:30, officers cleared out the entire floor, room by room, and locked up. Also, on overnight shift in one unit, I would have someone come up to my office window and look in. There is, after counting, ensuring all the doors were locked and the entrance to my unit being locked. And it was a different person each time. I'm a retired corrections officer. I have seen things that would make anyone question their own sanity. At the risk of sounding crazy, I'll share a couple incidents. I witnessed a water bottle fly across the room as if someone hit with their hands. In this situation, we know that nobody was near it. There were no strings, etc. The trajectory was inconsistent with any natural cause. Catholic religious medallion was pulled off my chest by an unknown force. I was brushing my teeth and I bent over the sink to spit, and when I stood straight, the medallion was off my chest as if being pulled. It popped out of the chain and it went directly down the drain. It was worth noting that the show Paranormal State was at the same location shortly after these 2 incidents occurred. They found that the grounds had a demon. Several days after an inmate passed away, I believe I saw him. Let me explain. I work the special housing unit with another 5 officers. Sometimes after 5 rounds, we would gather in the courtyard, mainly for officers to catch a smoke break. When we returned to control, one officer smelled a strong whiskey smell. I looked up and saw smoke. I assumed that someone was late in exhaling. As I looked at the smoke, it was wispy form of a man. It was there briefly, but it was face to face with me. Goosebumps. I believe it was the deceased inmate whom I cut down from the hanging, performed CPR for 47 minutes, and sent him to the hospital with a heartbeat. He later passed in the hospital.